Question. Have you ever taken the time to see how much fear influences our decisions? Well, join me now as I bring fear in focus. Welcome to inFOCUS, where I take a single topic from worldview to biblical view. Hi, my name is Marriott. So I feel the best place to start is with how fear is defined. Now, fear has two main definitions. One describes it as pretty much the act of being afraid. The second is based on what you reverence, what you are bowing down to. So right off the bat, based on how you see fear, that kind of tells you where you're leaning. Essentially, fear is a choice. Now, throughout the Bible, especially in the Old Testament, the word constantly tells us to fear not, fear not, fear not, for God is with us, fear not. And that right there, to me, talks more about worldly fear. And the one that actually gives the best worldly fear definition in the word, I will say, is 2 Timothy 1:7. And that is, for God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and a sound mind. So I find that scripture real telling. I mean, think about it. First, it said it's a spirit. It calls fear a spirit. And then it basically says that God did not give it to us. So one, that's automatically telling you that's from the world. That's from somewhere else. And as the word said, it's a spirit. And because God did not give it to us, we should never bow down to any fear that causes us to be afraid. Why? Because God didn't give it to us. He gave us power, love, and a sound mind, which are things that conquer fear. Now, if I wanted to use another example, it would be Psalms 23, and we all know what Psalms 23 is. We recite it a lot. It is, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me beside the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. I can continue on, but that right there explains it in a nutshell. Fear no evil. You should never have to fear, be afraid in that sense of anything. Because if you truly believe in God, if you truly have him in your heart, then he is with you. And there is no battle that he cannot win. So why fear it? Now, let's talk about the second definition of fear, where it talks about a profound reverence of something or someone, which I like to refer to as godly fear. I'm going to start at Proverbs 1:7. It reads, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction." All of Proverbs really gives you a good look at what the word says about fear. And so I would suggest, truthfully, doing the proverb challenge, which is reading a proverb a day. And not just kind of doing that once, but doing it a couple times, because it sometimes takes about reading it 3, 4, 5 times in order to really get a true revelation. Because one, you're just reading through it. But the more times you read, the more you allow it to sink into your spirit, and the more you allow it to sink into your heart. And the more it can be revealed to you. And so let's go a little bit further down. Proverbs 1, verses 20 through 29. Starting at 20, wisdom crieth without. She uttereth her voice in the streets. She crieth in the chief place of concourse, in the openings of the gates. In the city she uttereth her words, saying, How long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? And the scorners delight in their scornings, and fools hate knowledge. Turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you. Because I have called, and ye refused, I have stretched out my hand, and no man regarded. But ye have set at naught all my counsel, and would none of my reproof. I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. That's powerful. When your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish cometh upon you, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They will seek me early, but they shall not find me, for that they hated knowledge and did not choose to fear the Lord. Wow, just like I said, that was powerful. And you have wisdom speaking there and really kind of telling you, like I was saying earlier, it being a choice between choosing the world and choosing God. It really shows you just what the word is saying. Like if you make the wrong choice and you're not fearing the Lord, reverencing the Lord, and not being afraid of something that the world is telling you to be afraid of, then you can find yourself in a situation where if you go downhill and you are destroyed by your fear, God is not going to save you. And He's going to let you take that path, and He's going to leave it to you because you chose it. And so to go a little bit further, I'm going to just go into Proverbs 2, read a little bit of that, starting at verse 1. My son, if thou wilt receive my words and hide my commandments with thee. That is so important. And on verse 2 now. So that thou incline thine ear unto wisdom, and apply thine heart to understanding. Yea, if thou criest after knowledge, and liftest up thy voice for understanding, if thou seekest her as silver, and searchest for her as hidden treasures, then shalt thou understand the fear of the Lord, and find the knowledge of God. Kind of reminds me of where it tells you, place your treasures in heaven, and not here on earth. But just to go a little bit further, that'll be Proverbs 3, verse 7. Be not wise in thine own eyes. Fear the Lord, and depart from evil. And so just to go back over again, like I said earlier, Proverbs is rich in a lot of foundational scripture where you can use it a lot to grow yourself in many ways. I'm going to now go ahead and get ready to end this. And I want to end it with Joshua 24, 1 through 15. And I'm not going to read through this. I'm actually just going to do a quick overview. But I'm going to first start at verse 15, where it talks about, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. And that's a passage we all know. We've seen it on plaques. We've seen it on paintings. We've seen it on people's screensavers, wherever. But to really get a grasp of that statement, you have to go all the way and read verse 1 all the way through verse 15. And Joshua at that time, just to kind of set the scene, he is over the Israelites at that time. He calls them together. He calls the elders, the leaders of each of the tribes together. And he basically just starts to tell them about, one, how God has blessed them since they've been out in the wilderness, and the things that he has freed them from slavery, from Egypt. He just lays it all out. And then he tells them that, hey, he had this land for us, and, we had people who started worshiping other gods, started doing the wrong thing. And that, for the most part, brings us to 14 and 15. Now therefore, fear the Lord, and serve him, in sincerity and in truth, and put away the gods which your fathers served on the other side of the flood, and in Egypt, and serve ye the Lord. And if it seem evil unto you to serve the Lord, choose you this day whom ye will serve, whether the gods which your fathers served that were on the other side of the flood, or the gods of the Amorites, in whose land ye dwelled. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Now I want to be clear. Choosing godly fear doesn't necessarily mean everything is going to be easy. In fact, it's quite the opposite. The main thing I want you to get from this is to never compromise on any decision driven by fear. Always remember, fear the Lord. In other words, reverence God, so that you don't separate your heart from Him. Thank you for sticking this out to the end. If you don't mind, please share, like, and subscribe. And join me on the next inFOCUS, where I will talk about love.